yeah, when I strung it up, it broke when I tried to pull it for a, like as in to shoot an arrow. I think it was because my string was too short. This is me. This is what I have learned over the past few weeks while trying to make a mini bow. Then I still have not succeeded. I haven't created one yet. No, sort of have. Yeah, I'll get into that a little bit later about how well I've created it, like how what I've done so far. I am currently on my, what was it? It was 8th try. My 8th try to make a bow. I've gotten some advice from Reddit, I've learned from YouTube, and I'm going to tell you what my mistakes were. So, let's begin. First thing I wanted to say were my mistakes. So what I did very poorly, first point I've got here, is checking my tiller to see if the bend is bending properly. You can see here on this. I'd bend it like this, and then I'd just go with one side, and I'd push down like that to see how far it would bend, and then it would break. You can see that in my previous video, and you can see that I've pushed it down so much that it has snapped. Next point, tillering too much. My 4th bow, I thought it was going very well, except I tillered it too much. I made it way too thin. That is the bow that I actually strung up. Like I put a string on it, I tillered it, it was bending very nicely, and then I actually put a string on it, so it was a bow. And then when I tried to pull it back as if to shoot an arrow, then that's when it snapped that time. I think that reason was because I expected the bow to bend a lot more. Oh, this piece is really bendy. Maybe I can make a bow out of this, like this big splinter. Huh. That's impressive. Now with this piece of wood, I was trying something else, but then of course you can see the weird shape. I actually cut, when I was trying to trim down the sides, I cut into it like that. With this one, it's actually really good. I actually cut with the grain instead of against it. I found out in a lot of my bows, and this is another mistake that I made, with the bows, they all had grains of wood that ran off the sides, and then whenever I tried to make it, it would just snap like that. But with this piece of wood, for example, you can see it's bending a lot, like a lot. There we go. Tried bending it the other way and it snapped. But it was bending a lot, as you could see, without breaking. So, yeah, that was pretty good. Maybe I can make one out of this one, if I don't break this one now. So yeah, as you can see here, you see the grains run all the way down from top to bottom, and they don't go off the sides, they don't go at angles. Let's see, there's a piece of... Here, this was my 7th bow. Was it 7th? No, this wasn't my 7th. This was my 5th bow. My 5th attempt. And it snapped right there on that edge. But that was because you can see here, these lines, they run off the sides. That was one of my mistakes here, because there it is pretty weak because it runs off here and it's not strong enough. But the block of wood was actually pretty thick here, about that long. So if I could cut down straight like that and follow to make these to make it one single grain of wood, Another mistake that I made was not having a design. So I would just take like a stick. Oh, not really. It wasn't a stick at first, but yeah. I just take a thing of wood, and I would cut it and chop off all the wood and make it the right size, and then I'd realize that it's not going to work because I've already broken it at that point. Yeah, because I didn't have a design, so a lot of the limbs were mismatched. One was a lot thicker than the other. I didn't draw on the wood beforehand to get it right, the right size, the right shape. And another problem that I had with the design is I made the handle too thick, too long. So I had my handle about that long in comparison to this broken wood right here. Next mistake that I made was I was not exercising the limbs when I tilled it. So I take off wood and then I just pull it down a little bit, bend it a little bit, and see where I can still take off wood, and then I take off a little bit more until I had basically a really thin matchstick that still would not bend. My last point that I've got here is one of my mistakes, is I thought that my bow had to bend a lot when it's fully strung up. So a lot. Here a normal bow would just be, a normal long bow, sorry, doesn't actually bend that much when it's strung up. Like here in my drawing, I've got it here bending a lot, and that's what I've been trying to... Yeah, my next section that I want to talk about is this time I used larch wood instead of the firewood that I used last time. This time my bows were bending a lot more, they were coming a lot closer to completion, and like I've already said, and I am very proud of, I actually strung one up, and I actually made a bow before I broke it. So I'm still pretty proud of that, because that shows progress, and I'm this close to making a mini bow now. Now this time around I've also the tiller on my bows looked a lot better. It was a lot more even, so I'm definitely improving my tillering skills. I used a tape backing. I'm honestly not sure what kind of tape it is. I first thought it was what's it called? I thought it was flex tape at the beginning. What's that? Yeah, I thought it was like a fiberglass tape that I was using, but it was not fiberglass, because fiberglass is a lot thinner than the tape that I had. Next point I want to speak about. The next thing is help that I got from Reddit. I joined a subreddit called Bowyer. It's just a whole bunch of people creating bows and asking for help on their designs, on their tillering, like other people to check their tillering, like what to do, what materials are best, and so on. And I found that this was a really helpful subreddit. I'll post the comment that I got back that really helped me. I'll post it over here somewhere. And they helped me a lot, yeah. They told me that larch wood is a really good wood to use, or so it has been reported. They suggested a cloth backing with any old clothes or bedded sheets or something. Thankfully I've just broken another pair of jeans, so I can just use that as a bow backing. Tiller and design a bow backing is not necessary. Of course, because I'm still a beginner, I would like to use a bow backing because my tiller and my design are not going to be good. I just know that. More help that I've received are from YouTube videos from YouTubers like Kramer. He makes really good videos on how to create bows and everything about bows, and honestly he's just such a nerd for bows, and you can see that he's very passionate about making it, and I really like those videos. They were very helpful, entertaining to watch, and so on. One video he does have making a mini bow, but he doesn't explain a lot about that. Another video that I watched showed the guy bending the wood, so getting it sort of damp and then bending it like this, and then keeping it bent for a while he creates while he glues on the bamboo backing, and this was done on a mini bow. where he bends it down using clamps and puts a handle and a block of wood in the middle, so it bends a lot. And then he just leaves it there so that the bow remembers that shape. Just sticks to that shape, and then that'll be a whole lot easier when stringing it up and so on. And that is what I have learned in the past month of trying to create mini bows. If you made it to the end of the video, like, subscribe, show your support for the growth of my channel. I would really appreciate that. And I'll see you in the next video.